On the last episode of Plot Addiction, Plot has showed some of his record finds of the past years. Some French stuff, some hip-hop stuff, some dance stuff. But what you didn't know, well, you actually know, is that there's a part 2 of this insane madness. More vinyl, more stuff. Will he be able to make it through the rest of his vinyl? Stay tuned. Alright guys, so welcome to part 2 of my latest finds. So I got a bunch of vinyls here that I want to show you that I got throughout 2019, 2020, and this year, 2021. So let's get this started. So the first one that I want to show you is Pleasure Line by Video Age. So this is kind of a funny story. One of my friends, he bought a vinyl on Amazon. I think it was like the Resident Evil soundtrack or something like that. And he got this vinyl instead. So I was like, I'm just gonna have a listen for fun, you know? And I listened to it and I actually find it catchy. So I was like, hey man, like, do you want to sell it to me for like a decent price? He was like, yeah, sure man. So he went ahead and actually sold it to me. It's kind of it's very hard to explain what kind of music it is. It's kind of like maybe late 80s with synth. But it's very like mellow, very relaxed, and yeah, I fell in love with one of the hit on there. I think it's like Shadow on the Wall. So yeah, I recommend having a listen to at least that song, and if you like it, you know, have a look at this whole album. Next up is Death. So it's spiritual healing. So you know, everybody knows Death. They're like a super heavy metal, death metal band. The singer like is a big screamer. You know, I don't listen to Death a lot. It's really enjoyable, you know, when I'm in the mood. But it's just that it was like a very decent price, 26 bucks, you know, for a Death album. I couldn't say no. I think it's I'm pretty positive that it's a reprint, but you know, it was the best album I could find when I was like vinyl shopping on that day. So I went ahead and bought it, and yeah, I really enjoy listening to that. Especially, well, when my girlfriend's not around, right? Because, you know, screaming metal band is not everybody's forte. So next up is Weekend by Vincenzo Salvia. So this, so there's a record label called Time Slave Recordings. I don't know if you guys are aware of this label, but like it's a label that has a lot of synth music, and you know, like Power Glove and you know, very synth. I don't know how to explain it, but it's very synth, very retro, and yeah, I'm very attracted to that record label. They have a Bandcamp website if you want to have a look, and yeah. So this one, what really caught my eye is that this really looks like Outrun, the video game. So Outrun is a very cool 90s game where it's like arcade-ish, where you have to like cruise around and with that girl, and you just have to get to the next checkpoint. It's very arcade-ish, and yeah, so yeah, it really caught my eyes. And then when I listened to it, it does sound like Outrun music, you know. So I had to buy it. I actually own the Outrun soundtrack on vinyl, so it was cool to, you know, like get something that is kind of similar. My favorite song on there is I think it's Traffic Jam. I'm pretty sure. I like most of this of side A a lot, but Traffic Jam is just like funny because the guy beats the horn in this song, and I don't know, it's a fun listen. So if you're like in synth, and there's no voice, there's no vocals in this album, so yeah, if you want to give it a try, go ahead. I just realized that I haven't put my music on yet, so let me do that. So today I actually wanted to put some loudness, so let's do that. Yeah. Let's lower the volume a little bit. Alright, so let's continue this there. Okay, so next up is actually an album that I am pretty sure I showed before, but a long time ago. But I ended up selling it for some reason. But it's actually my favorite ACDC album, and it's For Those About to Rock. And what I really like about this album is that, I don't know man, like, probably because there's a lot of songs in there that didn't make it to the radio, like a lot of like, yes, a lot of songs that I had never heard before. contrary to all of the songs from ACDC that are so popular, right? It's like Back in Black, Thunderstruck, but this one has like, for those about to rock first, like this is just an incredible song. And one song that really catch me when I first heard the album was Inject the Venom. Yeah, that song really, you know, I was really into it. But yeah, this whole album is great. You guys know ACDC. This is a very unappreciated album, you know, like, not unappreciated, but it's not talked about a lot, and I highly recommend it. It's high up there with like, this album and Dirty Deeds. It's two of my favorite albums, so yeah. Next up is actually a present. Someone shipped that to me while I think I bought some records from this person, and he shipped this album to me, and I think it's a bootleg. I'm not exactly sure, but it's a Japanese album. It's called Shimmy Manabe. So do you guys recognize this? Like, I never really, I was never into Japanese pop album, but this is one of their most popular pop album, I think, at the time. This was released in the 80s, I think. I don't see any dates here. Nope. So yeah, man, like, it's a cool listen. I'm not into Japanese pop a lot, so you know, I listen to it once in a while, but I'll keep it because it's a nice present from this person, and yeah, it's kind of cool to have something unique, you know, that I don't have in my collection. So yeah. Next up is an album that I actually haven't opened yet, and I don't think I will. I bought this out of like stressing on not being able to buy it later. You know, it's a limited edition, and yeah, it sold out pretty quickly, so I was like, I gotta buy it and make a decision to keep it or not afterwards. And it's Coheed and Cambria. It's No World for Tomorrow. I think it's like a part 2 of something, but I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, it's still sealed. It's the limited edition etched artwork, double gatefold vinyl, and yeah, I like the album, but it's just not something that I feel like I'd listen on my table. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and probably like list it somewhere, or if I find someone who needs it, you know, we can figure something out. So yeah, cool album, cool vinyl. Like the vinyl itself looks pretty cool online. So yeah, I'm sure someone will like it. Okay, next up I have an interesting story for it. It's actually Glorious Sun, and it's the Union. So I went to this this pawn shop around here called Beats and Bytes, and they have a few records. It's not, you know, the best selection, but they do have some cool stuff around. It's like Glorious Sun, for example. So I was looking around, and I saw this, and I don't know why, but I always get confused with like 3 bands. There's Glorious Sun, One Bad Sun, and something else with Sun. I can't remember, but I wasn't sure. I was like, oh, is that one of the bands that I like? Is it not? Well, so I went for it. I was like, I'm pretty sure that I like this band. So yeah, I went ahead and bought it. Actually, I was looking around. I had this and actually ACDC in my hands, and there's a guy who approached me. He was like, oh man, yeah, Glorious Sun, man, I love this band. I was like, cool, man. So yeah, it was right in the middle of you know, the pandemic. It was kind of cool to socialize. We talked a little bit. We talked about the Black Keys. We talked about when Glorious Sun went, they had a concert in Moncton, and he couldn't go because he had he was like out west or something at the time. And then he mentioned something about having like a limited edition of one of the Glorious Sun album, and there's a guy who keeps you know, bugging him to trade it for him or something, and he doesn't want to. Like, he's a super fan, right? And he just want to keep it. And anyway, he had some interesting stories. We talked about Kings of Leon. Actually, I mentioned that I didn't like his albums, but he mentioned to me that his later stuff is better. So I'm going to have to actually have a listen to Kings of Leon's later album and see if it's actually good. So it was a nice story. Hope I get to see that guy again. You know, like, we had a fun talk, and I like to talk about music. So yeah, maybe I'll see him at a record store or, you know, a record expo. All right, next one. I actually have to give credit to my girlfriend because she even told me, she's like, oh, you got to give me credit for this album. So it's actually my favorite band, Dead from Above, 1979. And they released a new album, and I wasn't aware of. probably because I don't keep myself up to date too much on music. But yeah, I was like, so I was at the Sunrise record, and I was looking around for like specific albums that I didn't know, and I actually went through this album, but I didn't see the sticker, right? And I had no idea what this album was. It was like, oh, probably some punk or something, you know. But then Melissa was like, my girlfriend, she was like, you know, you passed a Dead from Above. Like, do you have it or not? I'm like, what? What are you talking about? You know? So anyway, she goes ahead and shows it to me. And I'm like, holy moly, that's a new Dead from Above album. That's awesome. Actually, at first, I thought this was like a cover songs for some reason. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why. But yeah, I thought it was like cover songs. And yeah, she's like, oh man. She's like, when you show it to people, you have to tell them that it's because of me that you got this album, and it's true. I gave it a listen. It's a cool gold album. And it delivers, man. It's as good as their other 3 official albums, and yeah, I've been listening to it a lot, and I'm so happy. All right, next up is a very rare record that I got from someone online in the video game community, actually, for some reason. So this band called Chilled Cow. Actually, I'm going to show you right now. Chilled Cow. It's called Lazy Sunday. So this guy released albums in like very limited quantities. I'm not sure why. Probably like I'm actually not sure. And what this guy does, he has a YouTube channel actually. They changed their name. I can't remember what it is, but yeah, I'll show it down the comments below. But yeah, so what he does is he takes a bunch of chill songs. You know, lo-fi chill songs, if you're familiar, and he just do a live channel and put them all in, and it's very good to listen to while you're working on your computer and stuff. So yeah, so this one has just a bunch of songs released by different artists, and that's what he do. He does compilations of vinyls. That's like as a side, you know, that's not his main thing, and it's very cool that yeah, he does that. But the thing is, they're so limited. It goes up to like $200, and but the thing is, a guy from Discord bought 2 of them, and he was like, "Hey, I got an extra if you'd be interested, you know, because I showed some interest." And I was like, "Yeah, sure, man. Like, how much?" And he gave it to me at market, like at the buy he bought it at the price he bought it from. So I was really happy, and you know, like I've been listening to it actually only twice so far because I got it recently. And I love it. It's very good to listen while you just want to chill, you know. It's very good music to relax to, basically. All right, so next up, actually, when I got Glorious Sun with the guy I was speaking to, we talked about Black Keys, and we talked about how the last album was pretty good. I only listened to it once, so I couldn't remember much. And after, like, he talked to me, was like, yeah, it's really good. I love it. I like their energy. So yeah, I went ahead and bought it. So I went to Moncton maybe 2 weeks ago, and I saw it, and I was like, oh yeah, might as well. $33 price tag. I think I did some trades for it, and it's actually really good. And then my girlfriend Melissa, while I was listening to it, she was like, hey, that's actually pretty good. There's some few songs that she added in her playlist, and it's funny because I wanted to tell that too before, is that Glorious Sun, she actually knows a few songs about them because she has a few of their songs in her playlist. So next up is actually one of the last uncommon album from Styx that I was missing. So it's Styx. He was a man of miracle. So yeah, finally, I think that's the last uncommon album that I was trying to seek, and finally I have it. I'm missing like 2 albums, but they're not as hard to find. It's Kilroy was here, and I think Cornerstone or something like that. So finally, man, like I almost have a full set of Styx. I love Styx, very cool band. Like I personally like them. I don't know if there's a lot of people who like them, but yeah, this and I really love this cover, man. It's like a wizard. I don't know if it's like controlling the planets or if he's like making them float. I'm not sure, but it's very cool. And on the back, it's like, I have these planets in the grasp of my hand. Like, so, I don't know. I like that this cover is like telling a story, you know. And yeah, it's cool. I think I had something else. Oh yeah, so the thing is, so I listened to it, you know, I flip it on the B-side, and it starts with Besting. So I was like, what the heck? Besting is like one of the, it's a song on their first album. So I was like, what the hell? What is it doing there? So I guess what happened is that on their first pressing, they did a cover of a certain song, and I guess when they pressed the album again, they couldn't have the rights or something, so they added just this the Besting on it, which I was finding weird. I was like, did I buy a cover album? I wasn't sure, so I had to look it up, and that's what it is. It's that they had some copyrights probably on the cover song, and they replaced it. And on a third pressing, they actually added a new song on there, I think, but I can't remember the name. But it'd be cool to have, you know. All right, so next up, so today is my birthday, and Melissa bought me a few records as a present. She also bought me a bunch of stuff, man. So she bought me a let's show you. So she bought me a cartridge for my table and a preamp. So the thing is, I have this record table that I bought a few months ago, but I couldn't make it work because the cartridge was broken, and actually my system here doesn't have a preamp set up, so I can't play it on mono because the needle is not the needle, but the turntable is integrated inside the system. So I had to have a preamp for it, and now as you can see, it sounds excellent. And yeah, man, I can't thank my girlfriend enough for all these presents. She also bought me shirts, band shirts. You know, I'm so excited. I'm so happy. You know, like she bought me all those things, and it's all things that I wanted. Anyway, so let's go ahead and go with the last two albums. So the next one is an album that I didn't open yet because, you know, I got it today and I didn't have the time. So it's Lindsay Sterling, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna massacre the name, but it's Aretmis? I'm not sure. But yeah, it's a cool album. Nothing that had to do with anime or anything like that. This is just what they did for the album. But Lindsay Sterling is actually a violinist, and most of their songs has no vocals, but there's a few songs with vocals. Actually, there's one song in there with Evanescence, if I'm not mistaken, which is pretty cool. So yeah, you should look up their her performance live. She's crazy, man. So she's a violinist, and she does all these acrobacy while playing the violin, and it's crazy. And her songs are so good. I listened to this album so many times while shoveling the driveway for some reason, because, you know, it's so soothing, so relaxing, you know, while shoveling the snow. Very cool album if you're into like just you know, a snuggie with a coffee, you know, when you're in that kind of mood. This is an album to listen to. I highly recommend it to people who likes violin, basically. And the last but not least is an album I've been looking for it for a while, and they did a repress lately, I think a few months ago. It's King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. You know what? It's probably the only King Gizzard album I'm gonna buy. I'm not too much of a fan of the other albums for some reason. They all sound different, right? So it's every album for every taste. And yeah, this album really stick to me. I love the first song, Not Again Infinity, I think is the name of the song. And Mr. Beat. Mr. Beat is awesome. I love it so much, and it's so mellow, and it changed the pace of the album so much. And yeah, like I'm so happy to finally have it. This pressing, especially since it has some cool colors. Actually, let me show you. And the I know that the slip is pretty cool too, with this big face of the, I think this is the singer. Very creepy. So this is the album looking. Very cool. Few colors, and the other side has a yellow, different color. I don't know how they did it. They have two different colors, and yeah, very cool album. I don't think it affects the sound, but it's pretty cool. And you know, when I first heard about the album on vinyl, I was wondering how they were going to do it, because the way the album works is that it's actually supposed to go on repeat all the time. So when the album starts, it starts really like fast, like right away. And when the last song ends, it's supposed to go right back to the first song. It's like an infinite loop. So on vinyl, that wouldn't work, right? So I was wondering how they did it. And the way that they do that is that they start the song, they start the last song, but they fade in the song. And when the actual first song starts, it's on full sound, right? So it goes and do the rest of the song. So that was a cool way to do it, you know. Like I was kind of skeptical to see how they were going to do that, and I'm very happy with the mixing of this album. So yeah, that was it for part 2 of my record finds. So hope you guys liked it. For my next videos, what I'm going to do, since I don't get many records all the time, I'm just going to do like little things like maybe show my cassette collection, show my shirts, show my music shirts, you know, things like that. Show, you know, explain memories of a certain album that I have, reviews, you know, and I also want to show my video game vinyl collection for fun, you know. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun time. Hope you guys like it, and I'm so happy to be back on this channel. And have yourself a wonderful day. Have a good one, and happy birthday to me. See ya.